Hey everybody, it's ZM, and in this video I'm going to show you how to get the Ember set within Tears of the Kingdom spoiler free. And to do so, we're going to be heading to these three locations that have been pinned on my map, as these are roughly the locations of each cave that hold a piece of the set. And while there are much closer areas than the Eldin Canyon Skyview Tower that you could teleport to, I'm going to be using that as my base point to start from and reach each of these caves from there, just in case for those who don't have certain, shrines activated, or just generally don't want to spoil the game with certain locations opened up. So yeah, as you can see, there are already shrines that would be a bit closer to the location we're heading to, but we're going to ignore that. We're going to be using the Eldin Canyon Skyview Tower to reach all three caves, again, to make it really easy to follow for those who want to follow along without having certain parts of the game completed. And speaking of which, as you can see, I'm speeding up the footage just a little bit to kind of make it easier to reach each location, because there is a faster way to do this, of course, but that also requires completing one of the main quests within the game. And again, that's not the point of these videos. The point of these videos is to kind of not have anything completed within the game and show off how to get them the second you get the Skyview Tower activated, as it will give you the map for that area, and then you'll be able to head to them immediately. And this is an armor set that I would want to get pretty early on within the game, as I absolutely love how it looks, and it's easily one of my favorite pieces within the game. So, as you can see, like I mentioned before, while there is a shrine much closer to one of the cave's entrances, we're not going to do it that way. We're just going to head down like this and enter the first cave. Sadly, it won't be that easy, because as you can see by the two NPCs, yes, we'll be stopped. And you can't actually avoid these two. If you couldn't tell with how I was trying to sneakily glide my way into the cave, I was still stopped in my tracks, and I have to speak to them before I enter the cave. But these two brothers will tell you about Misko's treasure, something we've been hearing about since Breath of the Wild's DLC, and we hear a lot about throughout this game. As with Misko's treasure, there are so many hidden outfits and weapons that you can obtain, from old outfits that have been in Breath of the Wild to amiibo weapons and outfits that you can get within this game without the amiibo, to these new outfits that have been added as well within this game. And we're here for one piece of his treasure, it being a piece of the Ember set. And as you can tell, there's a lot of chests here. We're going to be looking for this exact chest, and we're going to yank it out, as this holds the piece of the Ember set that we're looking for. Ignore all the other chests, and there we go. We got ourselves the Ember trousers. This set gives you hot weather damage along with the rest of the set, but sadly doesn't give you hot weather resistance, which kind of sucks. But with the trousers now equipped, we're going to once again be interrupted by these two brothers, as they're going to tell us a little bit more about Misko's hidden treasure, something you should have already heard a lot about throughout this game, even if you are early on within it, as so many NPCs tell you about the bandit Misko and all of his hidden outfits that are all throughout Hyrule. And well, again, we're not here for all of them. We're just here for the Ember set pieces. We're kind of forced to hear this bit of dialogue, and yeah, this bottled letter here will tell you a little bit about the Fierce Deity's Sword, something you can get through an amiibo, it being the Young Link amiibo. But again, if you want to get it directly through the game, you could follow this. But we're not here for that. We're here to complete the rest of the Ember set. So we're going to go ahead and teleport back to the Eldin Canyon Skyview Tower and continue from there. And as mentioned before, while there are other shrine locations that would be a lot closer to these cave entrances that we could teleport to, this is for those who don't have those shrines activated, and in general to make this a lot easier to follow, as thanks to the Eldin Canyon Skyview Tower, we can reach each of these caves just by gliding. Even though it does consume a lot of stamina, you could easily reach each one because you have enough air to glide from the tower all the way to the entrance of the cave without stopping and reaching too far below and having to walk on the surface. So it just makes this a really easy way to follow things if you're trying to follow it as a guide. But yeah, as you can tell, we're pretty much almost there to our second location to get another piece of the Ember set. Though with this cave, we're gonna have to be a little bit more careful, as you're gonna need either a fireproof piece of armor, which you can buy from Goron City, or you're going to need a fireproof elixir, which, as you can see right there, there was a lizard. There are lizards usually around here, but yeah, go ahead and drink up a fireproof elixir to get Flame Guard, and that will pretty much prevent Link from burning up into crisps while being inside a really hot cave. And you only need 1 tier to do this, so you don't have to worry too much. All you really need is a flame-proof lizard and a few monster parts, and then you cook that into an elixir and you'll be good to go. So as you can see, now that we're inside the cave, all we need to do is go ahead and reverse this platform so we can make our way to where this flame like is, but I don't want to mess with them because you know me, I dislike likes. But we're gonna go ahead and then take this platform and put it on the other side, as yeah, that curtain of lava would have prevented us from riding the platform from one side to another with ease. But I'm going to leave this like because in general I want to show off how to do these quests without really having to interact with many enemies or use really any items that you may not have. I'm trying to make these guides as simple as possible to follow for those who may be early on within the game, because this is a set I would want to get early on in my playthrough. If you couldn't tell already, yes, the trousers are lit with fire. Literally, they're lit. They look really cool, and now we're going to see how the next piece of the set looks, that being the Ember shirt. It's going to also light up now that we're in the heat, so let's go ahead and check it out. So this is how the set is going to look now that we have 2 pieces, and again, this is a part of Misko's amiibo treasure that we can get certain things, but again, we're here for Misko's Ember treasure, so we're going to ignore that. But as you can see, yeah, look at that. Link looks so badass with it all lit up in the heat. But now let's go ahead and make our way back to the Eldin Canyon Skyview Tower and get the final piece. So this final piece happens to be the furthest away from the Skyview Tower here. And while I did mention Goron City, again, I don't want to show it off just in case you haven't seen it yet within this game and seen what has changed from this game to Breath of the Wild. So if you want to avoid that, yeah, you'll probably have to use this tower as a starting point. But yeah, there's usually going to be a shrine within every major city within the game, and there happens to be one obviously within Goron City. And if you end up using that, you'll be far, far closer to your destination. But again, with how I'm trying to structure these guides, we're gonna have to do it the long and tedious way, but it shouldn't take too long. As you could tell, we're speeding up the footage, so it's not like it's as long as it normally took, but regardless, it only takes like a minute or two, as you could still cover a lot of ground within the sky. But you may notice I'm about to run out of stamina, and while there is an island I could rest on to replenish my stamina and then continue my glide, I want to show this in one go, and also, again, not stop by any location. So let's go ahead and gulp up a nice meal, and that will actually replenish my stamina to full. Really easy to do, stuff that you could have done in Breath of the Wild. So if you do have any stamina like food to replenish yourself in midair, you could easily do that, because you do need more than 3 stamina wheels to reach it again from the Eldin Canyon Skyview Tower. But again, if you used the shrine from Goron City, it would have taken you literally seconds to reach it, as right behind Goron City is where this cave lies. And this cave holds the most spoilers within it, but you can't avoid it now. So yeah, when we enter this cave, you may notice by the name, it is known as Yonobo Ko HQ South Cave. But I'm not going to get into why or what's going on. We're just going to ignore that. And as you can see, there are some horror blends, and you do want to take them out. Normally I like to avoid the enemies to make this really fast and easy to follow, but let's go ahead and now pull out a weapon that will destroy this rock. And I left one of the horriblins alive, but we're going to try to build this because we do need to use this Zonai device to get the piece of treasure. But you'll notice that they're not going to leave me alone like other enemies, as yeah, just like that, he chucked a rock at me, which is not nice. So let's go ahead and now kill him, because I was trying to be nice and leave him alive, but just showing off that yeah, you might have to kill the horriblins here. But anyways, with that done, now let's go ahead and complete this by completing this Zonai device. Luckily, you have all the material you need to build this vehicle. and all it really needs is to attach the 2 wheels to it, and just like that, you're done. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this out. Even though you can ride it within this cave, I'm just going to set it into the lava that we have to cross by just to make it a bit easier, but it is fun to ride. I do like these vehicles a lot. Like, it's so fun to play with the Zonai devices and make your own creations, but luckily this cave gives you everything you need, and just like that, yes, we are leaving the body of lava, and we're not being touched easily. Like, this is super nice. You're just able to drive through it just like that, and it leads you, yes, if you couldn't tell, to the final piece of treasure, it being my favorite part of the Ember set, the Ember Headdress. So now let's go ahead and see it fully equipped. As you can tell, yeah, it's lit. It looks dope. As, yeah, again, if you are in hot weather, it will light up and do, yes, the flame damage that it gives you, because this is the hot weather attack stat buff that we're getting. Super, super awesome, and I love the way it looks when it's lit. You literally look like the dragon Dinraal, especially with how the horns are curved and everything. It looks very identical. Obviously, these sets are kind of based off the dragons, but as you can see, outside the cave, where it's not too hot, yeah, the outfit isn't lit. You don't really see the horns glow anymore, as this is how it looks like when you don't have the hot weather damage. But anyways, that about does it for this video. Easily my favorite set, as Link looks like a dragon samurai with it. But thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Let me know what else you'd want to see me cover in the next one. But as always, I've been ZM, and I'll see you all then.